Previously on the What the Hell Is Next podcast.
If I do anything you want me to do, maybe another time, maybe another life, you will be my wife and we'll get it right.
Hi guys. I don't want to say that. I don't know about you, but I have been feeling like all over the place, like scattered, fragmented is the word that comes to me, and I'm in a very, very uncomfortable place. But anywho, I don't know about you, but I've kind of like been feeling the word that came to me in a conversation this week, which I'm going to share, is movement, right? It's like everything is moving. I'm moving, situations is moving, stuff is moving. There's things moving to me, there's things moving away from me, there are things moving in me, there are things moving around. Like, it's just a whole lot of movement. Movement generally refers to the act of changing physical position, and there was another definition. Change of place or position or posture. Why I got all these P words with these braces on my teeth in this episode, I don't know. But change of place, position, or posture. Oh, movement is the fundamental part of being alive. That stuck with me. And it kind of summed up kind of what I've been experiencing lately. So I heard Holy Spirit say, no, you have everything you need inside. So the revelation was, when we hear we have everything we need, it's usually tangible, right? I have everything that I need in my hand. But what he wanted to tell me was, I have everything I need inside. And not only do I have everything I need inside, I am everything I need for this moment. Like, literally have been prepared for, this moment to happen. Well, I don't have time to be frazzled. I don't have time to, be distraught. I literally had to trust what was being said to me in my spirit. Showtime. Bing! Lights, camera, action. And that movement is upon us. Like, things are moving, things are shifting, stuff is happening. Opportunities you've asked for, or you prayed for, or you thought about, is coming to you. And to encourage you and let you know that you do have everything that you need. You are everything that you need. Pause, take time, and don't miss the moment. Because the way that the world is going, it may not come again. Welcome to What the Hell Is Next, the podcast for those of us who thought adulthood came with a manual. We're going to laugh, learn, cuss a little, pray a lot, and figure this thing out one real conversation at a time. I got no more time. We recording? You ain't even say nothing.
I asked if you was ready.
And children, it'll be your own children. Your own kids. Hey y'all, we back to another episode of What the Hell Is Next. Keep going. Okay.
I'll make sure your head wasn't cut off.
Episode 9? Episode 9. Yo, I'm getting really consistent at this thing. I'm trying to make it to 12. I'm trying. Very hard to make it to 12. At least 12 complete episodes, and then we'll figure out what happened after that. We'll probably keep going though, but I'm just talking junk right now. But today we are going to talk a little bit about something that I have been hearing maybe for the past 3 months or so, about burnout. Part of me thought about how to talk about this topic and subject, because what I'm learning is a lot of words are becoming like buzzwords, right? People are just saying words for fads or because it sounds good when it's actually a real thing. But we're going to talk a little bit about burnout. I'm going to share, as always, my experience, how I've dealt with it, how I recognize what it is, and then a couple of things that I found. But number one, I do want to say burnout is a real thing, especially for African American women. And I have noticed that it has been more frequent now than ever. Like a good percentage of people that I've know or that I've talked to have noticed just burnout. So I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about, what I've observed when it comes to burnout, and then some of the experiences that I've experienced personally. Number one, I recognize and I've observed that people don't even know when they're burned out. They have no clue when they're burned out. Religious beliefs, society, African American women culture, or people of color, women of color's culture is to push through, right? To keep going, pray, all of the things that we're told to do when our bodies, our minds, our spirits, our soul is telling us to stop. And so I started thinking about, when did it become taboo for black women to stop? Like, I know there's a big fear and there's a lot of weight put on us about if we don't do it, it don't get done. Or what are they going to say? I'm still trying to figure out their names. But what are they going to say if I stop, or if I don't do this, or if I don't complete it? When the reality is, everything about us is telling us to stop. Like, stop. You push through, you keep going. And our bodies operate habitually. We're going to move out of habit, right? Out of something that we've always done subconsciously. We're going to do things subconsciously. But when your body is telling you to stop, and then we either blame it on the devil, or we pray, or when we got to go to the doctor because now our bodies is really responding to what's going on externally. We go to the doctor, we get the medication, or we lay down or whatever, but then we get right back up and we continue to do the same thing. Burnout is a real thing. So one of the things that I've observed, especially with women of color, is that we don't stop. We don't stop. The world does not stop turning because we stop, right? Things are still going to happen, or people are still going to act the same way. And the reality is, things are still going to get done if we just pause for a moment to be in tune with ourselves. I recognize when I'm burned out is when I'm short. I'm very short with people. I shut down. Of course, my responses aren't the same. Like, I'm real still. I literally go inward when I'm burned out. But I learned, for me, one of the things I do have to be better at is communicating that with people. I think I do a good job, but you can always be better at it. And then recognizing the levels of burnout. What caused burnout for me this time was, I was in school, also doing part-time job, in school, in school. School really burned me out. It was so stressful. It was so stressful for me. So by the time I was walking and I graduated, it was like a huge relief. But by that time, it had already taken a hold. It was an effect, right? My mind, my spirit, my body. And I'm still pressing through. I'm still showing up for people. I think I broke down a couple of times, like literally just cried, because that's all I could do in the midst of all the things. But I recognized that I was totally burned out. Easily irritated, irritable. You know, certain people was pissing me off. And I'm going off and just totally off. Totally off. It began to affect me emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I was like, all the things was just to the left. But burnout is a real thing. And it saddens me and it grieves me sometimes, because we don't realize that we're burned out. And then we don't think that we can just stop and take care of ourselves. We've been told that it's selfish, that we're not servants. You know, what are we going to do? You're a failure, like all of those bad things. No, the reality is if I don't stop, it'll be more detrimental, not just to me, but everybody's connected to me. All of the things that's connected to me is just going to fail. It's not going to work. I'm not motivated. I don't feel like doing nothing. And for those of us that suffer with depression, because depression is a real thing, I also think that it triggers that and it opens the door for that, right? Depression is something that is, contrary to popular belief. Depression is managed, right? You manage depression. You have to know your triggers. You have to know, what state you're in, what's going on. Some of us have to take medication for it because it's literally a chemical imbalance. So being burnt out triggers that for me, right? I just want to be in bed. I don't want to move, because I suffered with depression for years. Just manically depressed, born depressed as a child. I was just sad, just a sad child. Be happy and then I was just sad. That's a whole nother episode. But for burnout recently, it affected a lot. And then I found myself still moving because there was still stuff to do. Instead of saying, hey, set another time for that stuff to get done. Set more goals for that stuff to get done. Because at the end of the day, you're not present enough to be able to give it your all or produce to the magnitude that you can produce or to the level that you can produce anyway. So let's take that time and just take that time for yourself. So I wanted to read some things that I found about burnout. Burnout is the state of severe emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by long-term unmanaged stress. It makes you feel drained, detached from your responsibilities, and unable to perform daily tasks, affecting your job, relationship, and caregiving roles. How to recover. We'll talk about that later. One of the things I realized also is that for severe burnout, it takes at least a year to recover. Like, it's nothing that you can solve with one trip or a massage or getting your nails done or whatever. It literally takes a year to recover. Doing research, it said that it takes intentional change in habits to recover or to kind of reverse burnout. I think what we believe is that if we just keep going, that it'll just go away, and that's not true. That's not true. With everything that's going on today in the world, and family, and economics, and your personal life, and what you're building, and what you're striving for, we need to pause. We need to take a moment to pause. We need to take a moment to be realistic, right? I can't go to everything. I can't be at everything. For me, I need to be selfish. I know that's a taboo word, but for certain things, I need to be selfish because I'm a giver. I'm a servant. I love very hard, right? Especially like my family and my friends and those that I hold dear. I love very hard, but I can't do that and be there for them in that magnitude if I'm burned out. If I got an attitude all the time, right? Then the relationship becomes toxic. I'm no longer the person that they need me to be, or that I need to show up, how I need to show up. I'm now toxic, but then expect others to be okay with it and to understand. No, I'm burned out. Thinking about communication, which is very, very key, and being realistic about expressing where you are, and apologizing and being accountable for what you've done. Recently, I got a text message from a very dear friend, and due to me being in this state of trying to manage all the stress and all the pressure, they felt as if they were left out, or they felt as if they weren't included. Now, mind you, they are at everything that I do, but this one particular thing they were not. And I was grateful that they shared with me how they felt in the moment. And then I was able to communicate where I was. Now, not doing it or apologizing for them to, reverse how they felt in the moment, but literally just taking that moment to literally communicate, and then for me recognize what that state that I was in did to someone else that I care about, right? And then I got to thinking about how many people have I affected that don't come and tell me how they feel or how I made them feel in the moment, for me to be able to be accountable, right? Burnout affects so much. This is beyond being stressed or overwhelmed. This is literally being depleted of energy, of motivation, of determination, of drive, of your passion and your love for whatever it is. This is just totally fizzled out. You are literally an empty shell walking around going through the motions. And what kind of life is that, right? What kind of enjoyment can we find out of those periods? So if you need permission, this episode is giving you permission to stop. Okay? Giving you permission to say, hey, I need time. Take PTO. And don't take PTO to clean your house. Take PTO for yourself. Whatever that means. If you can, do a staycation somewhere. Or, spend time just being outside. Just doing nothing. Sometimes it's okay to not do nothing. Why do we feel we always got to be doing stuff? And what is it that we're doing? Where is the result of our busyness? We're just moving. Just moving just to be moving. So this episode is really about identifying burnout, kind of discussing it. I'm trying to come from a different place with it because, again, we hear it all the time. And I'm trying to shed more of a responsibility and an accountability on it versus a negative tone. Right. So High functioning burnout, right, is, for me, this is my definition of when you're burned out and you're still able to move, right? I'm still able to show up in meetings. I'm still able to get the reports done. I'm still able to send the emails. I'm still able to cook the family dinner that I already cooked, that I always cook. But I'm not here. I'm not like present in the moment, right? There's nothing in it. I'm just here. For some people, that might be okay. Some of the challenges that I have, and I often have to check myself, especially with those that's close to me, I find myself asking, do they even know? Right? Are they okay with the fact that I just show up and I'm here and I do all the things? Or do they even consider, as my daughter said, that's her word, do they even consider the fact that, wait, no, something is off? Even if it's real faint or minute or real quick, notice that something is off enough to be concerned. And I think consideration is a big key during this period of burnout. Your body is talking. Are you listening? Do we listen to our bodies, or do we just wait until it's too late? Right? I'm well of age, so I know when something is wrong with my body. I know the habits of my body. I know when it's time to stop. I know when it's time to shut down. Be still, right? I know how far to push my body, and then I know what to do after the push. But I don't think we listen to our bodies enough. And our bodies are always talking. Always responding. Especially for women. Your pH be off. That ain't because you had sex without a condom always. Or you used the wrong soap. Or you did something different. Your balance is off because you're off. Right? Something is not right. That's the time to be like, hey, wait a minute. Let me do a full check. Not just a physical check. But let me check my mental state, my spiritual state, my emotional state. Who did I talk to? Where am I? Do I need to pull back? Right? Or do I need to talk to people that I don't talk to? That brings me whatever it is that I need to get that balance. Listening to your body is very, very important. And very, very key when you're burned out. During burnout. Your body it speaks loud. Now, I ain't want to go to the doctor all the time. Only because I've been with this old body a long time. And I pretty much know when something just ain't right. Right? This ain't normal. Whatever that is. But your body do respond to burnout. Right? Your emotions respond to burnout. Your mental state, are you foggy? And this is beyond menopause or stress, right? Just shutting completely down. And we have to stop and evaluate or do a check-in with ourselves more, because we're always given. Always given. So one of the challenges I want to leave in this episode, because it's almost always a challenge, is to take this month or the remainder of this month and really, really do a mental, physical, spiritual check of yourself as it relates to being overwhelmed, stressed, and burned out. And literally think about and be intentional about what you find, right? You may need to make some changes. You may need to change some things. If you're elevated or elevating in your business or in your career, you may need to do some changes with the people that you hang out with or, have conversations with. All that up and down is, trying to pull people that don't want to be pulled. You may just have to be the example for them versus trying to make sure that they do things. Like, those subtle changes to me, I think is very, very helpful when we're dealing with stuff and the weight and being overwhelmed and all the other things. I think those subtle changes bring the relief that we need in order for us to make different changes that can be long term. So I want to kind of touch on this episode a little bit about burnout, what burnout is, give you the permission to be selfish and to stop. It's okay. Stopping with communication, I think it's important. And that's another thing. We don't communicate well. That's a whole nother episode. How to recover from exhaustion. Reduce your exposure to major stressors and set firm daily limits. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. Eat balanced food, drink plenty of water, and build short micro breaks in your routine. That means that you have to manage your time. You have to say no, or you have to say not now. Some of us can't say no. One of the things when I was working up to saying a complete no, I would say I can do this, but I can't do that. Or I can, give this, I just can't do the whole thing. Really, really evaluating, what part of this can I show up for, and being honest and real about it, right? What part of this can I contribute? Because I want to contribute, I just can't do the whole thing. And being okay with that, right? So setting those limits daily, which means you have to be intentional. I was intentional about today, yesterday. Not intentional about today, this morning. Right? So I'm intentional about Friday, today. Excuse me. I put everything on my calendar now. And if it ain't on the calendar, it ain't happening. Right? Utilize your tools. Not just for school, not just for your career, but also for yourself, right? Some people journal. I'm not a journaler. I tried it. I can't be still long enough to journal. That's just me. However, I do set intentional time for things that I'm interested in and things that I want to do. So use your tools, right? Be okay saying no, or not all of it, right? Be intentional about pausing before you react and respond, so that you can really, really take a deep, deep, deep look inside to see what it is that is contributing to the state that you're in, right? What is it that's contributing to the extra amount of stress that is leading to burnout, right? And evaluate it and then make the necessary changes. Another thing I think we do, and I don't know where we get this from, we just expect things to just go away, or that it shouldn't happen. I don't know what book y'all read that in, or where y'all got that idea from. Like, things, people, the world don't owe you anything, right? Life doesn't owe you anything. You are literally in control of everything that happens to you by how you react or respond, what you put in, what you take away. So just being realistic about that, I think, will help kind of alleviate some of the weight. So here's to burnout. Here's to being overwhelmed. Here's to being stressed the fuck out. Right? To it I say pause. Stop. You no longer have control over me, my emotions, my mental state, my body, right? So if we're going to sit here and have a conversation, I'm going to have a conversation with burnout, and I bet you I'm going to win. right? I'm going to contribute more to this conversation than you have because I'm tired. I'm tired. You just get tired. So to all women, especially my black and brown women that are watching this episode, pause, take an evaluation, be realistic, and kick burnout in the patootie. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next episode.